Let me tell you something, my friend. There's a powerful truth you need to hold on to when you're at the edge, feeling like giving up because the pain of your journey seems too much to bear. Your painful faith is not a sign of failure, but a crucible for your growth, forging you into the person God created you to fulfill your purpose. That overwhelming urge to quit when the struggles pile up, the breakthroughs seem distant, and the weight of it all makes you want to walk away is real, but it's not the end. Inspired by the profound wisdom of Dr. Myles Munroe, today I want to talk about why you feel like giving up, how painful faith is part of God's plan, and why pushing through with His strength will lead you to the destiny He's prepared for you. You see, the Creator designed you with a purpose, a unique calling to make an impact, reflect His glory, and advance His kingdom. But Dr. Munroe taught that purpose comes with a price, and the road to your destiny is often paved with painful faith, where trust in God is tested through trials, delays, and heartaches. Feeling like giving up doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human, and God is using this moment to deepen your faith, refine your character, and prepare you for the greatness He's placed within you. When you're ready to quit, God is closer than ever, ready to renew your strength and guide you through the pain to your promise. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever been so worn down by life's battles that you just wanted to throw in the towel? Maybe it's a dream that keeps slipping out of reach, a relationship that's left you broken, a financial struggle that feels endless, or a spiritual dryness that makes you question if God is even there. Perhaps you're thinking, I've tried so hard and it's not working, why keep going? In those moments, it's easy to feel defeated, alone, or like your faith is failing you. But let me tell you something. The urge to give up is not the absence of faith. It's the arena where faith is forged. God is with you in the pain, and He's using it to shape you for your purpose. Let's talk about why you feel like giving up. Dr. Munroe often taught that the desire to quit comes from a collision of pain and purpose. First, you're facing intense trials, painful circumstances that test your endurance and make the journey feel unbearable. Second, you may be experiencing delayed promises, where God's timing feels too slow and the weight erodes your hope. Third, you might be carrying the weight of isolation, feeling like no one understands or supports your struggle. And finally, you could be under spiritual attack where the enemy amplifies your pain with lies to make you abandon your calling. When you feel like giving up, it's a sign that you're in a critical season where God is working, even if you can't see it. Let's talk about the pain of trials. Dr. Munroe taught that trials are not punishments, but tools God uses to refine you. The pain you're feeling, whether from loss, rejection, failure, or betrayal, is real, and it can make you want to quit to escape the hurt. But James 1:2-4 says, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Your pain is not pointless. It's producing something in you, strength, wisdom, and faith that you'll need for your purpose. When you feel like giving up, the pain is your teacher, preparing you for the destiny God has planned. Let's talk about delayed promises. Dr. Munroe often said that God's timing is perfect, but it rarely feels that way in the waiting. When the breakthrough you've prayed for, the dream you've pursued, or the healing you've sought doesn't come when you expect, the delay can make you want to give up. Habakkuk 2:3 says, though it linger, wait for it, it will certainly come. The delay isn't a denial, it's a season of preparation, aligning you with God's plan. When you feel like giving up, the wait is your training ground, teaching you to trust God's timing over your own. Let's talk about the weight of isolation. Dr. Munroe taught that purpose can feel lonely, especially when others don't understand your journey or when you're walking a path few can relate to. The isolation, feeling like you're fighting alone or that no one sees your pain, can push you to the brink of quitting. But Psalm 23:4 says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. God is your companion even when people fail you. When you feel like giving up, isolation is your reminder that God's presence is enough and He's sending the right people to walk with you. Let's talk about spiritual attacks. Dr. Munroe emphasized that the enemy targets those who are close to their purpose, using pain as a weapon to make you quit. The lies, you're not enough, this will never work, God has forgotten you, are designed to break your faith. Ephesians 6:12 says, our struggle is against the powers of this dark world. When you feel like giving up, recognize the attack, put on God's armor, and fight back with prayer, His word, and praise. The enemy's lies are loud, but God's truth is stronger. Your painful faith is your weapon, proving that you won't surrender your purpose. Let's talk about how God uses painful faith. Dr. Munroe taught that faith forged in pain is the most powerful kind because it's rooted in trust, not feelings. When you're ready to quit, God is deepening your dependence on Him, teaching you to rely on His strength instead of your own. Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith it is impossible to please God. Your painful faith, choosing to trust God through the tears, the doubts, the setbacks, is pleasing to Him and preparing you for your calling. When you feel like giving up, God is building a faith in you that's unshakable, ready to carry you into your destiny. Let's talk about the power of God's strength. Dr. Munroe often quoted Isaiah 40:29. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. When you're at the point of giving up, God's strength is your lifeline. You don't have to push through in your own power. Lean into His. Pray, Lord, I'm done, but you're not. Carry me. Stand on promises like Psalm 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. When you feel like giving up, God's strength is your anchor, giving you the power to keep going when you have nothing left. Let's talk about the power of God's word. The Bible is your shield against the urge to quit. Dr. Munroe taught that God's word is alive, cutting through pain and despair. Hebrews 4:12. When you're ready to give up, cling to scriptures like Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to those who love God. Or Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God will be with you. Speak these truths, let them sink deep, and they'll renew your hope. When you feel like giving up, God's word is your sword, slicing through the lies that say you're done. Let's talk about the power of prayer. Prayer is your lifeline when you're on the verge of quitting. Dr. Munroe taught that prayer connects you to God's heart, even in your pain. Philippians 4:6-7 says, present your requests to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts. Be honest with God. Tell Him you want to quit, ask for strength, and trust His peace to hold you. Prayer doesn't always stop the pain, but it gives you the courage to endure it. When you feel like giving up, prayer is your bridge carrying you from despair to hope. Let's talk about the power of praise. Dr. Munroe taught that praise is a weapon that lifts you above your pain. When you're ready to quit, worship God. Sing, thank Him, declare His goodness. Psalm 35 says, weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Praise shifts your focus from the pain to God's promises, inviting His presence. When you feel like giving up, praise is your defiance, proclaiming that your faith is stronger than your circumstances. Let's talk about the power of community. Dr. Munroe taught that God places people around you to share your burden. When you feel like giving up, don't isolate. Reach out to believers who can pray, encourage, or remind you of God's faithfulness. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Your community can carry you when you're too weak to stand, pointing you back to your purpose. When you feel like giving up, community is your strength, holding you up with their love and faith. Let's talk about the power of purpose. Your purpose is why you can't quit, even when the pain is overwhelming. Dr. Munroe taught that your calling to serve God, impact lives, advance His kingdom, gives meaning to your struggles. When you're ready to give up, ask God to renew your vision. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future. Your purpose is bigger than the pain, and it's worth fighting for. When you feel like giving up, purpose is your fire, reigniting your passion to keep going. Let's talk about the power of rest. Dr. Munroe taught that rest is God's design for renewal. When you're exhausted and ready to quit, you need physical and spiritual rest to recharge. Psalm 23:2-3 says, He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. Take time to sleep, be still, and soak in God's presence through prayer or worship. Rest isn't giving up, it's gathering strength for the next step. When you feel like giving up, rest is your reset, preparing you for the journey ahead. Let's talk about the power of gratitude. Dr. Munroe taught that gratitude transforms pain into perspective. When you're ready to quit, thank God for His faithfulness, for the strength you've had, and for the purpose He's given you. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances. Gratitude doesn't erase the pain. It reframes it, reminding you that God is working even now. When you feel like giving up, gratitude is your anchor, keeping you grounded in His promises. Let's talk about moving forward through painful faith. Dr. Munroe taught that God doesn't want you to stay stuck in the pain. He wants you to press on toward your purpose. Moving forward doesn't mean denying your struggle. It means taking small steps of faith, praying, praising, resting, and trusting God's plan. Philippians 3:14 says, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me. When you feel like giving up, moving forward is your victory, proving that your faith is stronger than your pain. Let's talk about God's promise to you. Dr. Munroe taught that God is faithful and he never leaves you in the pain without a purpose. Romans 8:18 says, our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. When you're ready to quit, God's promise is that your painful faith is producing something eternal, a character, a calling, a testimony that will outshine the struggle. He's with you, working through the pain to bring you to your destiny. When you feel like giving up, God's promise is your assurance, guaranteeing that your story ends in triumph. Now, I want to leave you with this. You are enough. You are enough because the Creator is with you, even in your pain. You don't need to escape the struggle to prove your faith because God is strengthening you through it. You don't need to fight alone because God is your power. You don't need to give up because God has a purpose for you that's worth the pain. You are enough because you are His, created for a reason, sustained by His grace and destined for His glory. No matter how intense the pain, no matter how strong the urge to quit, no matter how heavy the load, you keep going. Lean into God's strength, stand on His word and press through the pain because the pain doesn't define you, your purpose does. The urge to give up doesn't limit you, your destiny does. The Creator's plan is greater than your struggle, and He's leading you through painful faith to a victory that will make it all worthwhile. So hold on, trust Him, and step boldly into the purpose that awaits you.